Welcome back to the lectures in quantum chemistry and molecular spectroscopy. We shall complete assignment 1 with the last part E or E, problems 11 and 12. It's 19E, lecture 19E. Okay. Let's go to problem 11. Problem 11 is to consider the rectangular wave function psi x is square root of 1 by L between 0 less than x less than 1 and the function is 0 otherwise. It is given that way, and you are asked to express this wave function as a linear combination of the eigenfunctions of the Hamiltonian and also obtain an expression for Cn and Cn square. Is this an acceptable wave function? Okay. Given the fact that this wave function satisfies the boundary condition, namely psi of L and psi of 0 is 0, psi of x is 1 by square root of L. So, what this function looks like is that, and this value is 1 by root L, is as close to the edge as possible, and at the edge the potential is infinite, it goes to 0. Okay. So, this is what the function given. Acceptable? Of course, it is, because the integral is psi of x dx. If you do that, the probability integral, you do that 0 to L, then you get it's 0 to L 1 by L dx, and that you know is 1. So, it is normalized. It has two discontinuities at the two boundaries. Other than that, the function is well behaved. It is normalizable and it is a general function satisfying the boundary condition. Therefore, we can always write 1 by square root of L as a linear combination of n Cn root 2 by L sin n pi x by L n equal to 1 to infinity. Now, from the previous problem that was that had this particle in a box wave function, arbitrary wave function, we know exactly immediately how to calculate Cn, because that is essentially taking the integral on the left hand side with any arbitrary eigenfunction sin m pi x by L square root of 2 by L. This is the wave function 0 to L into 1 by root L. This is the wave function psi of x. This, you remember, is the psi n, the eigenfunctions, and this is the psi of x. Okay. Dx will immediately give you Cm on the right hand side, because this will pick only the Cm, all the others will go to 0. Therefore, this integral is root 2 by L by m pi with a minus sign cos m pi x by L between the limits 0 to L. Okay. And cosine m pi x by L between 0 to L, if m is 1, 3, 5, etc., this is non-zero, because cos 0 and cos odd L, this will be cosine of odd pi minus cosine 0. If m is this is minus 1, this is minus 1, so it is minus 2. But if m is even, etc., this will be cosine of even pi minus cosine 0, both of which are 1, and therefore, this goes to 0. Okay. Therefore, the summation, this one, contains only n odd Cn root 2 by L sin n pi x by L. Okay. This function is the same, is a constant, and it is the same about the middle L by 2. And L by 2, you can see that this is even with respect to the middle part, the sine function is, if it is odd number. Please remember, the odd number of sine functions pictorially look like this. The odd number of sine function look like this. This is 1, n equal to 1. If it is n equal to 3 between the same interval, this will be odd number of m, the sine function will look like that. About the middle, it is symmetric. Okay. If it is 5, you will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, it is again symmetric. Therefore, all the odd sine functions which are symmetric about L by 2 between 0 to L, they contribute to the overall wave function which is also symmetric about to the middle. So, there is, you have to see the nature of the solutions, and you should be able to explain them, why they are what they are. Now, the rest of the question is, if I understand, is this an acceptable wave function? I said yes, it is acceptable, and we calculate Cn square. Of course, you know the sum over Cn square will give you obviously 1, because this is a normalized eigenfunction, this is also a normalized eigenfunction. Therefore, the product will give you 1, similar to what I have done in the last problem. Okay. Now, problem 12 is something that a chemist should be seriously interested in, because this is a simple model for understanding one-dimensional systems, polymeric systems. And the example, the problem given here is a linear one-dimensional chain of conjugated poly. It contains, in this case of course, 12 carbon-carbon links, C double bond C, single bond C, single double bond C, repeated 2 more times. So, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and you have another 8 carbons. So, the entire sequence is C double bond C, single bond C, double bond C, then you have C double bond C, single bond C, double bond C, and once more. So, you have 4 units, another 4 units, and another 8 units, and this is the edge, the 2 hydrogens, and I have not given you the hydrogens in between. For the problem, the hydrogens are not relevant. What is the problem? Given this and the average bond distance being 1.33 angstrom, we want to use the particle in a one-dimensional model to understand the properties of the electrons. Okay. So, first of all, approximation, ignore the end effect and assume that the pi electrons are free to move along the bonds. End effect is the end effect being the carbon, the 2 carbons at the terminal positions and the hydrogens. Therefore, we assume that the wall, the box wall is at those 2 carbons, one way to look at it. And then you study the energy levels of how many electrons which do not interact with each other. How many pi electrons are there? Each double bond contains 2 electrons, pi electrons. So, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, there are 12 pi electrons. Electrons of course strongly correlate, they interact with each other, but for this problem let us assume that the electrons are not interacting, they are free particles. The problem asks you to determine the energy difference between occupied energy level and the lowest unoccupied energy level, with the assumption that at most 2 electrons can occupy each energy level. So, the physical picture is, you have a box whose width is given by this distance, and you are given the average distance C double bond C, this one, the average distance C, single bond C, all of this is 1.33 angstroms. So, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 bond lengths are there. Therefore, the length of the box is 11 times 1.33, ignoring the edges, ignoring these, okay, ignoring the edges. So, L is 14.63 angstroms. This is the length of the box. You have 12 particles, they do not interact with each other, therefore, we can consider each particle as a particle in the box, and each particle occupies one of the energy levels, n equal to 1, n equal to 2, n equal to 3, n equal to 4, 5, 6 and so on. Okay. Now, the problem tells you that at most you can put 2 electrons in one of these orbitals, one of these energy levels. I mean, it is a simple assumption of the Pauli exclusion principle that no 2 electrons can have the quantum numbers the same. Here, of course, there is only one quantum number, namely the quantum number for the energy of the orbital. It is a one dimensional system. In a 3 dimensional system, you will have 3 quantum numbers, and the 4th quantum number is the spin of the electron. So, here we have only one dimension. Therefore, at most you can put only 2 electrons. Therefore, these 12 electrons can be accommodated in the 6 of the lowest orbitals, orbits or the energies that you have, 6 of these. Okay. So, these are the 6 energy levels that we have, and the 12 electrons are in these. So, this is the highest occupied energy level, this one, n equal to 6, highest occupied energy level. Therefore, the lowest unoccupied energy level is the 7th energy, lowest unoccupied. The question is to find out the energy difference between these 2 levels. So, you have a particle in a box model in which the length of the box is approximately modeled as the 11 times the distance of the carbons that the electrons have freedom to move around, and the model is that the electrons do not hit each other, do not see each other, they do not interact with each other. Of course, it is a primitive, it is a coarse model, but the point is it's still a model. And so, you have 11 times that distance as the length of the box, and there are 12 electrons, and at most 2 electrons can occupy one of the chairs, and there are 6 chairs that you have, the 6 energy levels that you have, and the 7th one is the first unoccupied. Therefore, what is the energy gap between the 6th and the 7th? It is very simple, because you know the energy level expression for the particle. E6 is h square by 8 ml square into 36, and E7, which is unoccupied, is h square by 8 ml square into 49. Therefore, the difference between E7 and E6 is 13 h square by 8 ml square. M is the mass of the electron. So, you can write that as 9.3 times or 9.1 times 10 raised to minus 31 kilograms, and L I have already given 14 point something 63, or how much is it? Yeah, 14.63. It is 1.33 into 11. I am very poor in doing the maths using in English, so I will do it in my own language in Tamil. 3 11 33 3 11 33 36 11 This is what I know. You have to do your maths in your language. Okay. 14.63 angstrom, and so what you have is 14.63 into 10 raised to minus 8 centimeters or 10 raised to minus 10 meters. So, L is known, M is known, H is known, 6.626 into 10 raised to minus 34 joule second. Therefore, you can calculate this number. I leave it to you as an exercise, and this completes the assignment 1. I took the time to explain the assignment 1 fairly elaborately with all the details, simply because there are many ideas involved in elementary quantum mechanics. in that long assignment. And I hope you enjoyed the solutions and the presentation, and I hope it makes sense to you. We'll continue with similar exercises maybe a week or two later with the second assignment, and probably some more assignments for which I will give written solutions instead of video recording. Okay? Until then, thank you very much.